Tonight is going to be another fabulous contest. It always is. Every time these two teams get together. There. Pocket pick. Asar Thompson taking advantage of Harden. Lays it up. Harden working against Cade. Got to the left hand. Rejected by Cunningham. Double team. Quick double team. Cade dumps it off. Durham pump fake once. Slams it home. It's a 1-point game.
Schroeder again tears inside of the basket. Here's Harden driving on Cunningham. High off the window is James Harden.
What a fight.
Come in here tonight, and you take care of business, you absolutely are sending a message.
Yeah, I do think the Cavs sent a message last night. Hi, everyone. Welcome to First Take. Shea Cornette, Monica McNutt here with you. Good morning, Shanae Gumake, Stephen A. Hello, everybody.
It's Stephen A. on with the ladies this morning. Shay, it's great to see you again. You look great. Shanae, girl, you've been doing something to yourself. You look fabulous. You look fabulous. And Eminem, as in Monica McNutt, I only got one thing to say, but it's not with my mouth. Are you watching me?
Come on, give it to me.
Wait, Stephen A. That's a suit right there. That white suit right there. You brought it out for ladies' night, huh?
I am in LA. It's a little bit different flavor, and the playoffs are approaching, so you will see an upgrading situation taking place before your very eyes. Stay tuned in the week.
Okay.
All right then.
White at 10 a.m. Eastern. I am here for it. Okay, let's go to some hoops. Here we go. In a rematch from Friday, the Cavs took down the top team in the East last night without Donovan Mitchell again. Jalen Tyson was the leading scorer for Cleveland. They had 22 points. He had 22 points. James Harden added 18 as the Cavs beat the Pistons 113-109. So since acquiring Harden at the trade deadline this season, the Cavs are 8-1 in games he has played for them, with the lone loss being against the Thunder. Harden is averaging just over 19 points per game and over 7 assists per game. So again, 2 games against Detroit in the last 5 days. Cavs without Donovan Mitchell beat the Pistons and then took them to OT in the other one. What does last night's results, though, mean for both of these teams? Mon, what do you think?
Well, it's funny, Shay, Chanae, I say, when the Harden trade went down, I remember thinking, is this going to make them uniquely suited to go to work with Detroit? There's 2 things that you look at it. You look at the way Cleveland performed last night in the absence of Donovan Mitchell. James Harden definitely unlocks another level for those guys. Anybody that has played with him around the league, in particular when you look at Mobley and you look at Jared Allen, the opportunities that he creates there are certainly of note. He's bigger on the defensive end compared to Darius Garland, who was in that position. But when it comes to the Pistons, this is basically what has been said of them that seemingly doesn't apply when they have run into the Knicks. That if you make Cade Cunningham have a nasty day at the office and you make him inefficient, there too. And in this case, Tobias Harris and Asar Thompson didn't have bad games, but it was very clear to me that Kenny Atkinson was willing to live with that because there is no doubt that Cade Cunningham is the engine of the Detroit Pistons.
Shanae?
Go ahead, Shanae.
So I thought long and hard about this because the East has been complicated all year long. It's been interesting to see teams, they're hot and then they're cold, but overall, the Cleveland Cavaliers have the most weapons right now at full strength, when they're at full strength in the entire Eastern Conference. And I'll say that because James Harden, this man is an 11-time All-Star. I know a lot of people have question marks when it comes to the postseason, but right now he's number 4 in assists, and he knows how to get a bucket, and he is the number 1 isolated player in the NBA. He knows how to manipulate. 2, Donovan Mitchell, doesn't matter that he's out, still at full strength, he's having a career year. And so you insert him into the equation, they're more lethal. But the most important aspect that James Harden unlocks, as Monica said, is their posts. I thought it was quite interesting when James left a good thing, the Clippers were on a win streak, to go to an even better thing in this circumstance, the Cleveland Cavaliers. He said one word: championship. He wants to win. And that's the word that's going to hang over his career. And I think he's understanding the pressure of that because every game it looks like he's performing that it matters, especially for those post players. Evan Mobley, I feel like the E in Evan Mobley has to be efficient. He was 5 for 9 yesterday, I think 18 points per game. That means you can take that to the max, especially as his field goals go up. And lastly, everyone take note, please, of Jared Allen. Ever since James Harden arrived, he's looked sensational. You know, yesterday or even so, when he plays with James Harden, he's been averaging 19 and 10, shooting 73% from the floor. So when you look at this roster on paper, but also in practice, they have weapons that are Defensive Player of the Year, multiple-time All-Stars, guys entering their prime, and this is the best-case scenario ever since James Harden arrived.
A couple of things. Before I get into it, I just want to, I apologize. Y'all were just looking so stunning, and it was, it's ladies' morning here on First Take, me with the ladies, that distracted me. But I want to look into the camera and tell the basketball world, the Pelicans, New Orleans Pelicans, I saw what you said yesterday. I'll deal with you a little bit later on in the show. I just want to make sure you understand you asked for it. That's all I want to say until I say what I'm going to say later. Now let me get back to the Cleveland Cavaliers to answer this question directly. What did last night's result prove? Shanae, Eminem, not a damn thing.
Yeah.
Proved absolutely, positively nothing to me. But I want to tell you why, Shanae and Eminem. I want to put on the record, the Cleveland Cavaliers got the talent to win a championship. Mm-hmm. They have the talent to win a championship. I want to be very, very clear about that. But the reason why last night meant nothing to me, it was because it's a regular season game. Mm-hmm. And your basketball character is the question mark for this franchise. And that basketball character issue became relevant in the postseason last year before James Harden got there. We have to understand that James Harden, a top 75 player, one of the most prolific scorers we have ever seen. By the way, a future Hall of Famer, if we're really being honest about it. James Harden has the numbers. He belongs in the Hall of Fame, and he will get there. Make no mistake about it. But the indictment against him was whether or not he shows up in big games in the postseason. In his last 4 Game 7, y'all, this is a career 23, 24 point per game scorer. In the last 4 Game 7s, he has averaged 13.8 points on 27% shooting and 17% from three-point range. In closeout, big-time playoff games, he literally has been no-shows where he won't even attempt to shoot for so many shots. Last year in Game 7 against Denver, he attempted like 8 or 9 shots. This is James Harden we're talking about, who can put up 30 in his sleep, but for some reason was anemic in terms of his level of assertiveness and aggression. That's who you added to this squad. He obviously upgrades them. He's an incredible point guard. He's an incredible scorer. Anytime, anywhere he goes, the bigs around him get better. So let's be clear about that, but that's still a question mark about him. Why is that relevant, guys, ladies? Because last year in the playoffs, we watched a couple of games, at least one, specifically, where about 3 starters sat out for the Cleveland Cavaliers in a playoff series. And then all of a sudden, they were available for the next game. Well, if you were available for the next game, how the hell weren't you available for the game before? It's the playoffs. And they sat out and was on the bench and left Donovan Mitchell to go out there and handle his business himself. We've been lamenting that about the Cleveland Cavaliers. And what have we been raving about with Detroit? Their character. What have we been raving about with the New York Knicks from last year? Wondering whether or not we're going to see it again this year. Their character. We know about Boston's character because not only did they win the championship the season before last, but without Jason Tatum, they're top 2 seed in the Eastern Conference right now with an MVP candidate in Jaylen Brown and a great coach in Joe Mazzulla, who we watched Sinead talk about earlier on Get Up. So there's no questions about the character around the Cleveland Cavaliers. But within the Cleveland Cavaliers, there's a lot of questions. And last night tells me nothing. This is a team that you judge come playoff time. We know they got the skills, the talents, the ability, the size, the athleticism, the shooting ability. We know they got it all. Except here, where you going to be at. That's what everybody's looking for when it comes to Cleveland. I believe in Donovan Mitchell. I can tell you that. I believe in Donovan Mitchell. But we still got to see it collectively from them in order to be convinced.
I think we all know that. That's the biggest knock on these stars, the collection of talent in Cleveland. But I do crunch the numbers at like probably neurotic levels. And I do think, Stephen A., you talk about availability, the lack thereof last year in the postseason. That's why you go out there and you get a James Harden, because in the regular season and hopefully in the postseason, one thing we can say about that man's going to be on the court. He's going to be on the court. Now, will he have a disappearing act?
That's true.
Maybe he may disappear appear in some big moments, and I do believe that's why he went to Cleveland, because he understands in Cleveland he doesn't have to do the most. He doesn't have to be the savior. He doesn't have to deal with all of that pressure that he dealt with in the years past, right? So this is why this fit works. His number one job is to make open threes and let the bigs eat. And so that availability question, I sort of check off. I'm like, okay, they have someone that is a tested vet that will be on the floor. And then secondly, the next big knock is clutch time. And again, I crunched the numbers, and they've been 5-1 in clutch time games since acquiring James Harden. There is this level of we understand the stakes. I agree with you. Regular season game, one game does not matter much. But I do think that this was a team entering All-Star, or even before the trade deadline, that everyone sort of thought, well, we're going to write them off. There are problems here. They have no aspirations. They have turned things around where the expectation now is potentially for them to come out of the East. And that proves a lot to me. That proves a lot to me moving forward for the final, third of the season.
But it shouldn't. And I'll give you a stat that somewhat supports your argument, but in the same breath refutes it. In crunch time, in clutch time, James Harden has scored 16 points on 80% shooting. We don't care because it's the regular season.
Yeah.
We know what he can do. A matter of fact, our disappointment emanates from the greatness that we know he possesses, even at this stage of his career. Dennis Schroeder, this guy is a 13-year NBA veteran on 11 different teams, by the way. Who wouldn't want him on their squad as the playoffs approach? I know I would. I love the kid. I think he's a hell of a player, right? 32 years of age. So you secured your guard play. You look at Mobley, you look at Allen, you know what they can do. How about this cat, Jalen Tyson? This dude hits 5 threes last night. You know when he's one of the best three-point shooters in the game? Averaging 13 points coming off the bench. Oh, by the way, shooting 46% from three-point range. So they've got weapons all over the place. But are you going to show up when it's time? That's the question about the Cleveland Cavaliers. And going out to get James Harden, that literally is the only question about him. Are you going to show up when it's time? Nobody questions his ability. Nobody questions his availability. You know he's going to be on the court. You know he ain't going to cheat you that way. You know how great he is. You know he can score. But are you going to show up when it's time? You added a player on top of players we have those questions about based off of Cleveland last year in the postseason. They got some answers. They got some answers to provide.
Okay, but S.A., so I guess the next iteration, because I'm with both of you guys, the stats bear out that this is a guy that you want on your team because of his productivity, right? Y'all know I'm into this gravity stat this year.